Everybody ready? Call the January meeting of the Lee County Board of Education to order. Ms. Ford is going to offer our invocation.
Please bow your heads. Heavenly Father, we come to you today asking for your guidance, your wisdom, and your support as we begin this new year. Grant us understanding as we make decisions that affect our students, our teachers, our parents, and our community. We ask these things in your name. Amen.
Thank you, Ms. Ford. We have the agenda before you. We can adopt that by consent if everybody's okay with that. All right. First item on the agenda is the oath of office for the three of us who were either the two who were re-elected and the one new member, Mr. McDowell. We have Judge Gehring with us tonight, and she is going to provide those oaths for us. Are you ready, Your Honor? Where would you like us to stand? And what would you like us to
let her let y'all sign this first before I get going.
Okay.
Real quick, if you want to do that.
All right.
James. Yeah.
Do you look good in orange?
What time is it? Is it right at 6 on Monday? I thought that Jim Quinn said he was coming over here. Say him?
There
There he is. I just said your name and you appeared.
Right on
Okay.
time.
Perfect time as usual.
I jogged.
Okay. That it? All right.
And do y'all just want to stand kind of together, or how do y'all want to do
However
that?
you'd like us to do it. Whichever's easiest.
Probably at the desk.
Yeah.
Yeah, y'all just stand
Get
right
closer
behind
or
him.
dish.
Yeah.
Mr. Holt, which would be the best?
Where would you like for us to be?
There's fine.
Okay.
Right there? Okay. So what I'll do is I'll just do this all as a group,
Okay.
and if you'll raise your right hand, and then at the end of it, just say, "So help me God."
Okay.
Okay, raise your right hand. Okay. I, Claire, we should state your name for it, just,
Claire Lang.
Frank Griffin. James McDowell.
okay? Am a citizen of Lee County and being an employee of the Lee County School Board and the recipient of public funds for services rendered such as employee, do hereby solemnly swear or affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of Georgia, and I do further solemnly swear or affirm that I will truly and faithfully discharge all my duties required of me by law as a member of the Board of Education of Lee County and to the best of my ability. I do further swear or affirm that I am not the holder of any unaccounted for public funds due to the state or any political subdivision or authority thereof. I am not the holder of any office or trust under the government of the United States, nor of the several states as to hold said office according to the Constitution and the laws of Georgia, and that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the state of Georgia, and I have met the residence requirements of this office, so help me God.
So help me God. So help me God.
Okay, we'll start again. I,
Claire Lang.
Frank Griffin. James McDowell.
okay, being a citizen of Lee County and employee of the Lee County School Board, and the recipients of public funds for services rendered to such employee, do hereby solemnly swear and affirm that I will support the Constitution of the United States and the Constitution of Georgia, so help me God.
So help me God.
So it's good. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Man, I got lucky. I didn't have to sign anything. I was afraid I was gonna forget.
All right. Thank you very much, Judge, for coming to do this for us tonight. Moving on to the agenda, we have the election of the board officers. Dr.
So I'd like to recommend that we nominate Frank Griffin for board and Claire Lane for chairman and Claire Lane for vice chair.
Is that in one motion?
One motion, yes.
Okay. Is there a second?
A second.
Second by Mr. McDowell. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, let me know by saying aye. Aye. And I note that I abstained from my vote, and I believe that Ms. Williams probably abstained. All right. So that passes. All right. The next item on the agenda is the presentation of the December 2020 financial report. I believe you have that report in your package. What is the pleasure of the board as it relates to that presentation of the financial report? Have a motion by Ms. Lang. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Dr. Newell. Is there any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, let me know by saying aye. Aye. Any opposition? Passes 5-0. You have the minutes from our December the 14th meeting from last year. What is the pleasure of the board as it relates to those minutes? Have a motion by Ms. Lang. Is there a second?
Second.
Second by Dr. Newell. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor, let me know by saying aye. Aye. Any opposition? It passes 5-0. Dr. Miller, the consent agenda.
The consent agenda is routine. It contains 7 recommendations for employment, 1 reassignment, 4 resignations, 2 retirements, 4 requests to raise funds, and 6 overnight or out-of-state field trips. Most of those are related to extracurricular activities.
What is the pleasure of the board as it relates to the consent agenda?
Accept.
Motion by Dr. Noble, is there a second?
Second.
Second by Ms. Lang. Is there any discussion? I assume all of these out-of-state trips are, of course, contingent.
Yes, and you will note that one of those is for 2022, so trip to Hawaii, but of course, they have very strong travel restrictions right now, I understand, so obviously all of these would be based on that. Some of them are related to state competitions for wrestling, golf,
Cow show.
and the cattle show.
Speaking of that, there's one in Lee County this weekend, a cow show.
Yes.
So, in case you are interested,
Yes.
I'll be there. Any other discussion?
Where at?
St. Sherry Smith's barn off of
Hey.
Lima Road. Used to be Mac Odom's place. Hmm? I don't know. I don't know how they're doing that. Any other discussion? All those in favor of the consent agenda as presented, let it be known by saying aye. Aye. Any opposition? Passes 5-0. Moving on to your reports, Dr. Miller.
The monthly reports will begin with SPLOS, and SPLOS collections for 2020 averaged $405,652.20 per month. Even if you take out that large disbursement we had in the month of September, which was almost $700,000, we still would have had the highest average ever for monthly collections at $342,805.34. For the month of December, we had the highest collection ever for that month, coming in at $363,280.63. It's really good news. Under student health services, as of this morning, we had 25 positive cases involving staff and students, with 144 in quarantine. Those quarantine were, of course, before we came back with in-person learning, so those were family or community issues. Several of the 25 will be coming back this week or next week who are currently out with positive cases. Our community numbers are looking better, and we continue to monitor those, but our plan is to reopen school for all grades this coming Monday, January 25th. Obviously, we're going to continue to monitor our numbers within the system and the community numbers, but we hope to have everybody back in person that is so inclined. questions there? Technology, the December technology report, you have a copy of that. We had a phone issue over the break, and has to do with our fiber and wide area network. So we're looking to use some E-rate money to correct that issue and get the phone systems operating, but we need to improve it and make it work better. So they're working on that. Under food service, I want to thank our food service team, especially Ms. Regina Dunn, the director, and the managers for putting in place a meal program last week. They did that very quickly. We averaged about 300 meals a day. Actually, they were provided 2 meals, a breakfast and a lunch when they came through the pickup location. So be about 1,500 meals total for the week. But when you compare that, in December, we served more than 40,000 meals in just the month of December. So you can see how important having in-person learning is, not only for the educational aspect, but providing opportunities for our students to eat. And the meals continue to be free for everyone. So we encourage people to take advantage of that. And I do appreciate. And one more thing about food service, with our 6 through 12 not being, we do have some students on campus in our upper schools, just a handful of students, but meals were provided for them, and then some additional staff. When I was out in the schools today, I saw some middle and high school staff working in our primary and elementary, helping them out. Those schools, most of those schools did their lunch in the classroom, just to limit movement and keep everybody safe. Under transportation, all of our routes are covered at this point, but we do not have any sub-drivers. The transportation department, I'm proud to say, is working with our Lee County Health Department and Lee County to provide transportation for citizens needing vaccination for the COVID. Without a public transportation system in our community, this is a valuable service if anybody is unable to get to the health department for vaccination. So really proud of the work being done there. Plant operations completed nearly 300 general and preventive maintenance work orders. 2 projects I would like to comment in particular on are the new awning on the gym at Twin Oaks Elementary School. If you have a chance, go by there. You can see the steel has gone up, and you can see the shape of what it's going to be, and the plumbing's been done. It's going to provide an outdoor water fountain area, and there's going to be a new drive for our service trucks. And then the awning is going to protect that gym because we've had some flooding issues with the current setup. So that's really going well. And if you get a chance, ride by there and check that out. And then I don't know if you noticed, but we're pressure washing the cafeteria up here, the old cafeteria. It's probably not been pressure washed ever. And so it looks really, you can really see a stark difference between the area that's been touched and hasn't. So that's been ongoing since last week. It looks really good. And I appreciate our maintenance helping us with that. The last item tonight is the school audit report. Each year, Gary Kelly, our comptroller, conducts a study and evaluation of financial accounting procedures for all schools. The principals of Lee County Schools are responsible for establishing and maintaining the internal control structure for the school's accounting procedures. You have a copy of these audits. There was only one finding, which was related to a data entry issue at one school. I would like to commend Mr. Kelly for working to resolve this matter as well as conducting the annual audit. We're blessed to have a certified public accountant in that role and somebody who is a former state auditor who understands very well financial procedures. And he also works closely with our principals and the bookkeepers to ensure that our procedures are sound. We're very blessed in that regard. Do you have any questions about any of these?
The SPLOST, man, so how much more this year was that? than last year?
I would have to go back and total it up. You have a copy?
Well, I was just looking, I mean, it looked like it was significant, like, how is that, how do you think, anticipate that with our new SPOS requirements?
$1,300,000.
A million, that's what I thought I saw.
But that's 700,000 of that was that correction of that.
Yes.
error.
Yes. But if it continues to average like that over the life of the SPOS, it would generate, it's good. It's
Yeah,
really good.
true.
And the big change, of course, is the taxation of online sales. And so many people now shop online, not only because of the pandemic, but even before that. And so this has really been a blessing for our school system as well as others around the state.
So we think it should stay higher.
Yes, we should continue to see these kind of numbers, I believe. Now, I could be mistaken on that regard. I think the economy, I was reading today that the prediction is once vaccination it goes on around the state and these new phases come in, that we're looking for a real boost to the economy. Or that's the prediction.
Mhm.
So hopefully that'll translate to strong SPOS returns for our community.
All right, any other questions for Dr. Miller? All right, moving on to discussion and action items, we have one item there, that's a request for approval for the Verizon cell tower agreement. I know we've discussed some details of this, I know it's been reviewed by Corey, our board attorney. Dr. Miller, do you have any other comments about it?
I just think this is gonna really boost reception in our community, and this will be constructed on the visitor side of the footballs behind the stadium, behind the visitor stands, adjacent to, there's an area of woods next to that apartment complex, and it'll go there. And I understand it's gonna be a nice enhancement for cell phone reception, which is much needed.
Especially at Lee County Elementary.
Yes, we hope it'll have some impact there, but we still got some challenges we gotta work through on that particular campus because of the nature of the construction. But this is a good thing, I believe.
Have they shown you a map of what they think the signal strength will be off the coverage? Because typically around the tower, there's not good
No.
coverage, because it actually, almost like umbrellas.
Yes, they talked about the area that it would touch. Now, I didn't see a map, and I saw several maps, but those are more related to the location of
You
the
know, like
tower.
you're going down the highway and you go past the cell tower, usually you lose
Right.
connection. But I know that the way that it works, I just don't want to cause a problem. With it being there by the football stadium, I don't know the distance. I wonder if they could provide us with some sort of signal map that shows us that we won't be affected by and we might pick up off another tower, I'm not sure.
Well, I know people nearby were having to use dial-up still, and, until recently. So I would think anything we could do to enhance the signal. I don't know if there's a gap, but I'll look into that signal map issue.
Yeah, we put one in and then it's worse.
We don't want that.
I think they know what they're doing, I think
But they're not doing it for
That's
Lee
correct.
County High School.
That's right.
Right.
You know,
Right.
Yes,
Exactly.
they're just renting basically.
Yeah,
Um,
and I didn't read that contract, but said 50 seems a little low, but I mean, if it helps reception, do they go up in increments? I mean, they're supposed to every so years, they'll give you an increase.
I don't know that.
We have access, they have to have access to and from the tower at all times, and then I think they have a redundant generator, so they have to have
I
fuel.
think there's something
So
about
our fuel
10%
stored right
increase
there, and
after
all that
5 years or
thing
something like
looked
that.
I saw something.
Yeah, so maybe
I
they.
do not know that. I know the access issue, part of that land is actually owned by the city. And so to get back there on our school system property, you have to take a city, in which they've been good about working with us, because when our buses leave the high school parking lot, they're actually leaving on city property. That dirt part where the
Yes, sir.
parking lot ends and curves back by those woods.
Yes, sir.
So we were approached about purchasing that area next to the apartment complex, but it's, I mean, it drops 5 feet. I mean, that's just a,
Increase 10% of the
Yep.
annual rental
and so
pay
we
for the immediate preceding 5 year.
the accessibility should be an issue. The fuel storage, I'm assuming they're gonna meet all the EPA requirements, being close to a school and neighborhood.
There was something about, we had to maintain a set amount of insurance, I'm assuming we already have that.
All right, so what is the pleasure of the board as it relates to this contract?
I move we accept.
Have a motion by Dr. Newell, is there a second? Second by Mr. McDowell. Any further discussion? Ms. Lane did find in the contract, we knew it was there, that there was a 10% increase at the next renewal. Any other discussion? All those in favor, let me know by saying aye.
Password's not
Any
working
opposition?
either.
Passes 5-0. I see no other matter on the agenda. I believe we're to take a picture after this. So, seeing no other business, I will declare the meeting adjourned. Thank you.